Hi, welcome back to Future Fast. And once again, we have Dr. Bhakti Devi with us. And for those of you who missed earlier conversations, and if you are here for the first time into Bhakti Devi's conversation, I sincerely urge you. You missed two parts. Please go catch up. The first part has a journey, and second part we talk about Jal Smruti and her perspective on what's happening and what needs to happen, which is very relevant also and contextual. And particularly if you're interested in water, then you must listen to those two conversations. And well, going forward, once again, Bhakti, thank you so much for making time to be here with us
The problem.
and for this particular conversation on future. So, what do you see in future?
Okay, so it's a crystal ball gazing time, I guess. So I guess I would put it in this way that uh, what would the future look like if we didn't do something very urgently and at scale, right? So the way things are going right now, for example, groundwater, we have come to, because we have mismanaged the water resources, we started digging into groundwater, that too the groundwater which cannot be replenished. Because there are two types of groundwater. One water that is from the shallow aquifer, which actually gets recharged every time it rains. And there is deep aquifer, which actually doesn't get recharged when it rains because it is water that's collected over a million years, slowly trickling in and making its way. So we have started to reach those deep aquifers. And so if the next thing would be, if we don't do the right things, the entire cities will start to, what do you call, subside. They will start caving in. The foundations will start caving in, and that too
Jakarta is
a
actually
dangerous place.
sinking.
Exactly, because many of these are held. The ground is held because of the water. The aquifer, the deep aquifers are holding up the ground, right? And if you are going to at such a vast scale, when the depletion happens, the land subsides. So that's the kind of the extreme you can see physically. And of course, in terms of water getting stress also means the quality of water deteriorating, not having enough water. So all that can really start to create a domino effect on, because we are also not giving water to the environment, and that can have a, we already experienced that COVID was a direct result of we uh, the humanity killing the biodiversity. Because if we had the biodiversity, we would be protected by a disease like COVID. But if we, because of loss of water scarcity is contributed to the lack of biodiversity, and that has led to COVID and more of these pandemics you'll see in the future, right? So this is it's not just about going out of water, and it's about these other things that will start to happen before itself, right? So this is why then the future we need to have is what is important, that we still have a window, but that window is not going to be for long, unfortunately. We have a 5 to 10 year window where we can do a lot of things, and these things, as I said, are more to do with the new way of thinking about water, which is more about being tuned to the nature, so that we are correcting the mistakes we have done. We have disrupted the natural water cycle so many times, brutally, and
So,
we need to develop. Yes, yes.
now,
Please, please
do
go
you
ahead.
think the cities will die because that's what is being predicted? In fact,
Well, can
in the next
imagine. Yeah, to answer that question, I often say that if imagine Bangalore city with the most affluent real estate, what happens to a building which has no source of water? Because right now they're in such a precarious situation where they are depending on tanker water and borewell dries up, tanker water becomes expensive, or even that dries up. What is the value of the building? It becomes a bhoot bangla, right? Like it will be abandoned. Cities will be abandoned. Already people are moving out of the city to find another place. But then, unless we change our ways, the cities where we are moving to is going to become Bangalore also. It's not just the Bangalore a problem. The problem is how we have been managing water in the city. So unless we learn from Bangalore and not repeat that mistake in the smaller towns, because everyone is going to evacuate Bangalore and populate the other cities, then that city also will turn into Bangalore. That's the danger. Because
Right.
we have
Do
not
you do you do you
understood the problem.
see? There was a book, I think, nearly 20 years ago that I remember. World War III
Yes,
will happen for water. So,
yes.
do you see a war happening for water?
Absolutely. And it's not just the war between countries, civil war will happen. We already saw the glimpse of it, right? When Tamil Nadu and when we had the Kaveri water fight dispute. So this is not at all, even as we speak today, there are communities, informal, slum dwellers, they are being sent very limited water through the tankers, and people literally kill each other to access the water because it's just everyone has to fight their way to get the water. It's happening right now. It doesn't have to happen at a mega scale like war between
No,
the
but do
countries.
you see that that will also happen?
That
But see,
scenario, where definitely,
yeah.
definitely, because many, in fact, many wars, even now, politically, uh, the way the China is looking at India about how to, capture the rivers that are in the river catchments that are in control, they are all eyeing the water because they understand water is a critical resource. So it won't be a surprising thing because we don't like right now the way the geopolitical environment is, people are willing to fight for anything. I mean, right now two wars are going on. We couldn't have imagined that we can be just going about our normal ways while two major wars are currently on, right? Because the humanity is really stooped to a point where people are willing to fight for anything. Water is nothing. Water is a very legitimate cause for them. So this is ultimately it's the mindset that has brought us to the situation with the water. The way our mindset, the extractive, my exploitative, all that tendency has to be corrected if we want to restore water to its, and why we have to restore is for our own good, of course. That we are what do you call, it's a harakiri that we are committing suicide by ignoring and neglecting water. So that's the gloom and doom scenario of the future if we did not do what we should be doing. So I would say the ideal or the better future would be that water cycle restoration is given priority by every community, in a village, in a town, in a city, in a state, so that we actively start to learn about. It's a very simple, humbling process where community can get together and create and reshape the landscape wherever they are, to make sure that the water is conserved within the boundaries, and it is also allowed to go and seep in. Any excess is allowed to seep in. It is just a matter of applying the mind to reshape the landscape. It's a rural landscape or a urban landscape, doesn't matter. We have to make room for water to seep in. That's what is the concept of sponge cities that some of the Chinese cities are doing, right? And in the rural area, it's all about becoming regenerative, getting rid
Oh,
of the chemicals.
that's the concept
Yes,
which a lot of cities are talking about, right?
yes,
Internationally.
correct.
Uh, Anybody in
Yes.
India talking about Swan City?
They are. I think in Chennai, some plans are being
Oh,
created, inspired by the sponge cities. So definitely, because because Chennai has been so much experienced so much flooding in the past, and at the same time drought and flood cycle. So see, the thing is, what we overlook is this whole drought and flood cycle is not the result of climate change. That is the climate change. That's the climate change. So if you want to fix that, you need to really get serious about how are you managing your water and the catchment, the land. Are you growing enough vegetation? Are you keeping the soil permeable? Are you allowing,
well,
you know?
sometimes you're not in control, right? Like, see, Bihar is one state which experiences both
Yes.
the flood and the drought. And unfortunately, the catchment is actually not even in India, right?
No, that's
So,
yes.
so
But at the
uh,
same time, yes. No, having said that, what I'm trying to say is that within the boundary, there are things possibly you can do. It's all about managing. If the problem is not solvable, then manage the problem itself is a solution, right? You don't come in the way of the flood. If you give room to the flood water, that could be a solution if there are in some cases. But what I'm trying to say is that it is a matter of first deciding that we need to take action at every level. It is not only at the state level, only at the local government. Even within your own property, within your own neighborhood, can we look at what is it that we can do to not just save water, but also look at the soil, look at the ground area. How is the ground? Is it well vegetated? Can we, compost? Can we compost at home and use the compost to spread it on the barren land that you may have around you? So it's not just about water. It is about water, jal, jungle, jameen. Can we make more? Can we divert the excess water in a way that you manage the rainfall? If you understood how the topography is, that you can channel the water and give it some room and allow it to go into the aquifer. You can do that, right? So it's the matter of just doing it. And once you've done it, it's done. Your property is saved. You yourself, your boundary, your world has become Sujalam Supalam. That's a start.
Only challenge is that we need everybody to like that.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's a huge
exactly.
challenge.
And also, not only that, and when people cannot do it unless they know they have someone facilitating, hand holding them. And that is what we want to create, more people who can learn and then they can teach others. It's a matter of creating a chain. That's all. It's not that we have to teach everyone. We just teach one and they teach 10. And the 10 teach another 10, right? So it's a matter of, and it's not rocket science either. There are village people who have learned it and solved it themselves. So it is very doable, but it's just a matter of the mindset has to understand that we cannot anymore work with the old mindset of linear thinking, this degenerative solutions, solutions that are not giving life back, but they're killing. Like what does the agrochemical do? It just kills the thing, gives you the crop for 1 year and takes up everything, and you have to apply that again. So the way they've designed everything is to buy more agrochemicals. Even they've designed the seed to be depending on the pesticide. So they have created hybrid seeds now. So we are now teaching the villages. So the future is all about native seeds. People know how to save seeds. People know to bank them. People use them, and people are working, towards regenerative. And because they've experienced the goodness of it firsthand, and they're doing it. So this is because rural is a bigger part of the water use, and urban is how they can support those farmers. Just like we have family doctors, can we have family farmers? So you can actually, they don't need to have a certificate. Certification is a very expensive process. Many farmers are not able to pay for the certification. But instead of that, can you have a direct connect with the farmers? You know where your food is coming from, and you are trusting that what they're doing is right. You can go and check what they're doing. That's the better certification. That is the future we want. We want to create that type of thing. Because what future we create is in our hands.
So are you suggesting
it is not
that
what is going to happen.
One should adopt a farmer family?
Correct. Exactly.
Urban.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's possible. It's possible because with the remote, everything remote, you can have, QR scan or whatever. You can see the picture of the family, the farmer that where this food comes from, right? You can demand that from your food supplier. And people are now, we are working with some of the young entrepreneurs who are creating this, who are creating a, barcode where you can scan it and see exactly what time it was packed, what family is involved, what kind of farming they're doing.
So
all the videos are there for you to access.
Supplies.
Exactly. Blockchain also they've introduced. So you can't change. Everything is stamped. So with all the technology, can we create that kind of future? Right? Because, for example, I meet with some startups, agri-tech. What are they doing? They've got a drone facility. What are you going to do with the drone? Oh, we get the farmer to spray easily. So we can we not use the technology for the wrong thing? because that's what we did with the pumps, water pumps. We drilled borewells, right? We thought it's a great technology. And look what happened. So we have to be very careful whenever these agri-tech people come. I really want them to give a lesson. They have to go through a training on what is the right, correct way to farm, because they have no idea about the ground. They just want to sell their technology and they'll do anything. So now they have got a very beautiful equipment that within 90 seconds, it gives you all the, tests the soil and gives you all the parameters. What are the people using it, that machine for? To advise what agrochemicals the farmer should use. So now that equipment is going in the wrong hands. They're saying we'll give you cheap soil testing and we'll give you what they call as advisory, not just the parameters, but also we'll give you the advisory. And the advisory is all about you need to use this much more chemical, this much pesticide. So, like, we can always, we are in danger of misusing the agri-tech if you do not understand the fundamentals of the right way to do agriculture and food, especially because that impacts water. How you farm impacts water, right? So if you do the farming the right way, there is a soil, food, water nexus. So if to solve water, you have to solve the food. You have to make sure food is grown in the right way, because then the soil is right and the water is right and water is protected. So unless people understand this, the technology can be misused for doing the wrong practices and perpetuating the wrong practice. That is the danger, which we have to be really. So I would say future is in our hands. We can determine what future we write right now by making the choices, asking the questions to the technology providers, asking the questions where the food is coming from, how is it grown. Then automatically farmers will have to shift. They are willing to shift, but they are afraid of the market. The early adopters have already shifted. They don't care. They said, and people are coming to them for good quality food because they've figured out. Those who are seeking good food, they've figured them out and have connected. So family farmer should be a concept so that you don't need a family doctor.
Well, do you think this argument holds good for something like India, which is today the
Yes,
largest population in the world, right?
absolutely. Did you know the good news? I'll tell you the good news. The good news is India is where the regenerative agriculture was always practiced. It was
It
always
was.
practiced,
No,
right?
but you're also saying no
Yes,
more
no
genetically
more. Yes,
modified seeds, but
correct.
we need the. We are not able to. We still have the highest
No,
hungry population in the world also.
yes. So the other good news is 2 to 3 states have already got big programs shifting their farmers to organic farming. And in India, we have the largest area of acreage that is under organic farming in the world. When you compare, India has the largest area under organic farming. However, because we are such a big country, what we have is only 1% of our own land is under organic. So much more needs to be done, and it is being done in few states, and
The,
hopefully
but
it will also.
but still, near 300 million poor people who are struggling to get one-time meal a day to be able to push for chemical-free farming, which would mean significant lower production of crop, is
This,
a
can I stop?
challenge, right?
Sorry, this is a myth. This is a myth that is being propagated, which does not hold true anymore, because there are many examples now in the state of Andhra Pradesh, in the state of Himachal Pradesh, where they have proven that organic farming is producing equal or even more yield. So this
Or is
is
it?
not true. This is not true. I want everyone to go and check. I will even share a link to a paper where you can
Please,
read
please.
about the case
Yeah.
studies. So this is completely false. And what I want to say, when you talk about lower in production, first take care of your health. You don't worry, as if we are all worried so much about the quantity of food that we are talking about production. Production doesn't impact you. You what we get impacted by the quality of food, right? So what I feel very frustrated is we make a comment by because of the myths that's been propagated that, oh, production is low. Have you really cared about what farmers are really eating? That we are so worried that when we go to organic, we will lose production. They are not getting food anyway. Even now, with agrochemical farming in subsidies in place and everything, farmers are not earning enough. Have we cared about that anymore? Nobody cares. But while speaking, we all just आराम से talk about, oh, production low हो जाएगा, फिर गरीबों का क्या होगा? गरीबों का तो already खराब हो रहा है agrochemical से. They're already starving. The farmers, you should ask, why did have they given up? They have seen through the game. They've seen through the game and they are saying no more. We don't want to be trapped anymore. They are deciding that we want to do only this farming. What does that say? That what has agrochemical given? Have we ever checked that if agrochemical is really feeding the farmer? Before when we make this comment, we talk as if we care for the farmer. We know the state of the farmer is already bad. So what are we talking about? If the production goes down, who is getting affected? Farmer is already being completely in a very low state because of agrochemicals.
No land tax, no free water for farming, electricity is also free for them, and still, if they are not making enough money, where is the money going? Where is the produce?
Exactly, because
even agrochemicals are actually provided on a subsidy, right?
Yes.
Government has subsidized agrochemicals.
Because whatever they produce, there is no guarantee for them to sell. There's no guarantee of selling anything. They only are able to sell what they can get from MSP, the minimum support price, whatever they get. If the crop goes down, there's no protection for them to make sure that they're getting the returns. So what I'm saying is,
what are we talking about? See, there's no tax on the land, no water bill is free, electricity is free, and they are even getting. There are so many aids. In fact, most of the state governments here give free rice and free so many things that.
Do you know that even the insurance that they are assured when the crop gets destroyed, it doesn't really get to them? Do we know about that fact? Secondly, that all the costs that you said they're getting subsidy, but there is a huge, they still have to pay for the chemicals, they still have to pay for the pesticides, they still have to pay for the seeds.
At least for something they should pay, right? Everything is given free.
Yeah. But which business puts an input cost and it's made to sell at a price which is lower than the cost of production? Which business will accept that? Tell me. Which business? Immediately when you look at the normal business, we will make a comment.
What cost are we talking about? What cost are we talking about? Already there is no land tax.
The cost of their labor is not. Their labor is not paid for. Their labor is not at all paid for. They still have to input costs still exist of bringing the inputs of fertilizer, pesticides. These costs are
meet in the
and
cities.
Labor is not paid.
You find a cab driver saying he's a farmer. He comes to the city because it's the off season for him in the farm. He comes and drives here. So they actually have seasons for farming where they earn, and in fact they also there are schemes for whatever that Manrega or whatever, they also get money. So there is so much of money being given there, then where is this problem?
The problem is how they get paid for what they sell and they don't get covered for the labor. That is, nobody talks about that. Who's paying for the labor? Do we count the labor? No. But we think they're going to make money and therefore the labor is covered. It is not covered. You have to go and do the numbers and see, and you have to go to the village and check the state of the farm.
Any report on these things published that could be shared?
There are. You go, please follow Devinder Sharma. He is quoted all the government reports. You can see the average income of the farmer in Maharashtra is 5,000 rupees a month. After taking all costs, and because labor is no charge for the labor, he's not getting paid for the labor. He's only depending on recovering what he's selling with, and then you're not allowed to charge more or whatever. Like the price is not returning, and it is all up and down. Insurance is never.
Recently, there was a economics of 1 acre of sugarcane. I mean, not very detailed, but at a high level, was shared by one gentleman called Madhusudan who runs Mandia Organic on LinkedIn. How much a farmer earns and how much government earns out of what comes out of it. I mean, it's glaring. It's ridiculously
No, I
glaring,
think
and in fact, it's mind-opening to many.
no. But for that, you need to. These are they're just numbers. If someone can present a number, but I just want you to go and look at the state of. You spend 2 days in a village where people are farming. Just go and look at their lifestyle. Go and look what they're doing, and then you tell me that they are doing well.
No, I'm not
You just
saying they're doing well. I'm
no,
just
because
asking
no,
where
it is
are
important
these
because
things disappear? Where is this
no,
thing going?
to answer that question, forget about people quoting numbers. They can quote numbers from anywhere, right? I just want people to go and spend a day or two in a village and just observe what the farmer's lifestyle and what their day is looking like and what they do and what they actually get. Look at their condition of life. Just go and check
Well,
that.
just to bring the conversation back to, so you're saying that farmers are realizing that chemical free is the way forward, and you think that will become
Yes, they have
better,
declared.
most.
They have themselves said enough. We have got we have understood the trap we have been in. Others are making money out of us. Others are making money out of us, but whereas we get nothing, we are not going to be in that anymore. We will do our own thing, and we will. Many of the young people are also doing their own marketing. Not everyone can do marketing. Not all farmers can do marketing. So NGOs like us, we want to
No,
help
but
them
FPOs
to
have also
collectivize
started
them.
coming up, right? Farmer producer
Yes,
organizations
yes,
have started.
yes, yes. Correct. So now they are getting organized to make sure that they are on the seat, they are at the
So
table.
after all,
When
what you're saying is not so doom and gloom, right? It looks
yes, it is
pretty
not. It is not
bright as well.
because farmers have woken up. That's very important.
So
That they
probably
have
what you're
seen through
saying
the
is
game.
that the rural
Yes,
world is a lot safer. The urban world is what is going to suffer.
yes. No, exactly. So once you wake up, once you realize, which like the farmers, not all farmers, but the few farmers who have realized and awaken up, and with confidence they are saying this, that is the hope. And that is what once the uh, urban people also realize, nobody is going to come and give you water. You are on your own. Understand this, learn it, and just do it. That's it. And you will be fine. But if you keep waiting for someone to come and save you, good luck. That's not the future. Future is not someone is going to save you. Future is community that is going to be more savvy about their own water. They will be the one who will be successful in whether it's a business, whether it's anything. They are the successful ones will be more water savvy, water wise. They'll know how to manage their water. They'll know the science of natural water cycle and they'll work with it. It's very simple. It's actually not rocket science, to be honest, but it does take giving up your old ways of thinking and just accepting the new way and the natural way. So it transforms. The person also gets transformed in the process once you really get tuned to the nature. That's the beauty.
No, it's a nice one to say that. I would probably want to put the tag for this episode is be water wise.
Yes, you can exactly,
Wonderful.
and it's possible to be water wise.
Yeah, really nice. I see that. I think we should probably do a larger session on being water wise.
Yes,
So
absolutely. I'll be very happy to be part of that.
wonderful. Thank you so much. And once again, I really admire what you're striving to do, and wish you all the very best. And thank you so much for sharing with our audience. And I also like to urge our audience and listeners, please follow the work Bhakti is doing and Jal Smruti is doing, and just reach out to see how you can collaborate with this effort. And I think keep watching, because there's a lot more action that is happening from this space and her. So, and once again, thank you so much, and all the very best.
Thank you. Namaste.